Okay, good morning, everyone. How are you today? Um, well, last week we have discussed the modern history of the United States of America. Today we're going to talk about a very interesting issue, which is what we call as inequality in terms of sexes and then political rights and also opportunity to get educations in America. So when we talk about a concept which is called as American Dream is one of the highlights of American pop culture because at that time people who have this kind of um attitude toward American dreams believe that whatever they do, whatever they make in United States of America, they believe that it's going to be very successful. So in the 1950s, the concept of American dream postulates the freedom and then the opportunity for everyone, and also they believe that they have the same rights like everyone to have wealth, to have freedom, and to achieve just like what their white counterparts did before. So when we talk about American white, it is actually, American dreams. It is actually rooted from the revolutions of the movement of American black society. And black American in the South, for example, after the liberations of slavery, they still had been treated unfairly by the society. For example, they could not attend schools, which is the same schools like the white persons or white people. They could not enter the building where there is signs only white. They could not go to the library if there is signs only white. So there were a lot of segregation in the United States after American World War II. So it doesn't mean that American black society, American black people, they got the freedom after um, President Abraham Lincoln eradicated the slavery system. They still had struggles to face, they still had problems. And therefore, after the abolitions of a slavery system by Abraham Lincoln, they seem like they had what we call as hope because everything would be the same. Every person in the United States of America would be treated fairly, but the reality turned out that it was not. Okay, so you should remember that the black Americans also contributed lots to the American society because from American black society we could learn that the struggles and also adversities that they received in their own country gave us some kind of understanding or comprehensions that it's not that easy to mingle, it's not that easy to be accepted in the new society. Therefore, the context of American dream for the black American society or black American people would be very interesting to be discussed, right? So, because of the policy of segregation, you can imagine that blacks women, blacks men, blacks children, they sat in the backs of buses and used only restrooms for non-whites, we can say, and they could not eat in the cafeteria or in the canteen or in the restaurant where only whites can enjoy that places. So in some certain states, black people at that time could not even vote. They could not practice their political rights, and therefore they could not choose the representative from their area. So that's how the description of how bad or how unfair the black people were being treated at that time. And Northerners, particularly the white Northerners, also discriminated against black, especially in jobs and also housing. So it was very challenging. It was very hard for them to have jobs, to get a proper house, and also to be accepted in a company or to get a work, right? But in 1957, President Eisenhower first time sent U.S. troops to Little Rock, Arkansas, to force the all-white university to accept black students. So this is a very momentary uh, historical account where eventually in 1957 black students can be accepted in uh, American universities. Before, they could not be accepted, they could not be admitted in the universities. Okay, and then that is one of the good deeds created by President Dwight D. Eisenhower. Yeah, he forced all the white university to accept black students. And between 1957 and 1970, as a result of the civil rights movement led by the Martin Luther King Jr., it has created the help or assistance, yeah, for black people and other and other minorities to achieve what we call as equality, fairness. And then President John F. Kennedy and Lyndon B. Johnson used these ideas, the Martin Luther King's ideas, in the New Frontier and Great Society program. So what is actually New Frontier and Great Society program? So New Frontier is actually a program that stipulates, that aims to make American as a salad bowl. Salad bowl, quote unquote, means that America is a country where diversity is being celebrated, if you know what I mean. So because they already saw, they have seen that it is okay to accept differences among society. It is okay if you have black neighbor, Asian neighbors. It's okay if you have um, neighbors who have different skins from you, right? So this is what actually the game changer for Black American society. We can say that the condition has been improved gradually for them, because finally they could go to all white universities like the Ivy League universities in the US. They finally could, vote for the representative. They finally could participate in the election and so on and so forth. But it is the time where you can feel that, oh, finally the change has come, right? And Great Society programs is actually an integration program where the American presidents and other governments in every states incorporate the values and the ideas where diversity should be celebrated, should be appreciated, should be imposed in the United States of America. So the integration between the black and white, between the Asian and white, between the Mexican and white could run well, right? There have been great changes, yes, in the last 40 years, in the last 50 years. But actually, even though there have been changes, we can still see and we can still say that the problems of injustice, intolerance still happening in the States. So if you ever heard the case of Lyot and other black people victims of police demeanor toward the black people, you will realize that yes, there are times when there were good times for black people, but there are also times when there were, you know, black times for black people. We can say like that. Okay, I think this is for our material for last week, and then I will continue uh, the next discussions in the next video. Thank you so much for paying attention. I'll see you when I see you.